Hello, and welcome back to Language Culture and Dr. Lou. And today I'm going to share with you another video about more funny sounding words that are actually real in English, of course. And so I had a great time making my last video, and I'm so glad that so many people have liked it so far and have watched it. So I hope you'll enjoy this too. And so, um, this little collection of really funny sounding but real words, again, they're all in English. They all can be verified in multiple dictionaries, and not just slang dictionaries or anything, but Merriam-Webster and that sorts of dictionary. And so I guess let's start off with some funny sounding words. And the first one is an F word. Well, not that F word, but starts with F, flibberty-gibbet. And that one is really fun to say, and I couldn't believe it was actually a real word. But yep, there it is, flibberty-gibbet. Say it once with me, flibberty-gibbet. Anyway, it's a very fun word. I've heard other variations on it, like flibbergibbet or fibbergibbet. Um, but this one, flibberty-gibbet, is the only one I could confirm in plenty of dictionaries. And what does it mean? This is someone is described as a flibberty-gibbet if they are really talkative and often about nothing serious, just silly, unimportant type stuff, but they talk a lot. So other words for flibberty-gibbet would be motor mouth and butterfly. And anyway, those things come to mind, but it's just a really talkative person who often is talking about things that are, silly, unimportant. Uh, and so every once in a while, people who talk a lot of gossip get called this, but I think it's a little more silly than that. Anyway, so that's flibberty-gibbet, and that word is one that's hard to say 5 times fast, flibberty-gibbet. And so I'm not going to try on camera in front of everybody. Instead, let's move on to another word that I found really funny sounding and just realized that it's a real word, conjubilant. And so conjubilant is this is when an adjective describing people who are screaming and shouting for joy all together at the same time. That's the con part. C-O-N is means together, and jubilant, uh, uh, you know, that also means joy and all that. So it's a lot of joyful screaming together. And so this happens, of course, lots of sports games when the fans get all crazy over stuff, as well as lots of parties, like of all ages. But I mean, one thing that comes to mind is if you ever had like a birthday party for a 9-year-old who had a couple dozen friends over, there's they probably got a lot of quite conjubilant at plenty of times there. And anyway, so that's conjubilant. And yeah, again, I couldn't believe it's a real word. It's kind of fun to say, and I was surprised to learn that this word actually existed. So, what's another funny sounding word? Ill-Willie. So, what's an ill-Willie? That's someone who has a really unpleasant disposition. Really, yeah, unpleasant. Ill-Willie. And I love the way that sounds, Ill-Willie. And it's funny to me because you can call somebody an ill-Willie just like you can call somebody a Debbie Downer and stuff like that. No offense to anybody actually named Willie or Debbie for that matter, but it's nice and rhymey, and well, it has the uh well, I think it's the perfect way to describe someone who has that look on their face, like that kitty cat there, definitely an ill-Willie. And what I also found out is ill-Willie has some synonyms that are also kind of fun to say, kind of funny to pronounce, like surly. So ill-Willie is a synonym to surly, or cantankerous. Cantankerous. That's kind of hard to say. It doesn't really roll off your tongue, but cantankerous kind of sounds fun anyway. But anyway, among all the three of these, ill-Willie is my favorite. It's the silliest one of them all, and it's a whole lot more fun than just calling somebody mean, you know? Anyway, so what else? Turducken. That's a word specific to American English, pretty much, and it's pretty funny to say turducken, turducken, turducken. But the funniest part of me is to imagine that a mythical creature actually exists that's turkey and duck and chicken all in one thing. But anyway, what is a turducken really? Well, the picture of the dish there on the bottom, that's a turducken. And so what is it? You basically you have to take a deboned chicken, stuff that inside of a deboned duck, and then you stuff all that inside a deboned turkey, and then you sort of roast them together. And in countries other than the US, this dish is often called a three-bird roast. And but I think calling it turducken is so much more fun, especially with the imagery that comes to mind, like that super angry bird immediately to my right over there. Imagine if he's real. And or the really silly cartoonish illustrations. Anyway, it's really fun to think of the imaginary creature turducken. Uh, and so what I found after I thought about turducken, I realized we had lots of really funny culinary words to say. Words of foods that we eat are really funny, like s'mores. S'mores to me, that's kind of funny. And so what other food words sound funny? Slumgullion. Slumgullion sounds like a pretty nasty word describing something bad, right? Slumgullion. And it is fun to say too, Slumgullion. And it seems appropriate that it sounds like a nasty word because originally it did mean things that were not pleasant at all. Such as, okay, okay, one thing it came to mean was an insipid beverage, like a really bland drink. And that's probably the least unpleasant thing that I can think of that it was used for. But today, it's used for things that are delicious. Like, for example, a slumgullion in the United Kingdom is a meat stew. And so an Irish stew with meat and some vegetables and stuff, that is, well, a slumgullion is a kind of Irish stew, and other parts of the UK, I believe it exists as well. But in America, um, slumgullion we use for a different thing, which is the other picture I showed there, and it's also called American goulash. So it's a mix of different things that usually includes plenty of pasta and of course also with meat and everything like that too. But anyway, very different dish, and both of them are pretty delicious in my humble opinion. And most of all, that word is pretty fun to say, and I was surprised to find out that was a real word too, slumgullion. And so the last food food thing that I think is fun to say, the last one I will bring up today anyway, is flummadiddle. And a flummadiddle is funnier every single time. And what it is, it's known as it's a baked bread pudding is a flumadiddle. That's what it's come to be known as today. But what it started out as is, well, it's also a bread pudding. And what it also means today, in addition to just being that pudding that you can see on the range top in the one picture, um, what it means today is something that is useless or foolish, really foolish or useless or even nonsense, that kind of a deal. And that's why the little owl there has his head all crooked. He's all yeah, looking confused and surprised that something so foolish exists. And so it's come to mean nonsense or fool or something foolish. If it's a noun anyway, something foolish, something useless. What it started out meaning long, long time ago was a frill on a woman's dress, like you can see in the one picture, although sometimes it wasn't always near the top of the dress. It sometimes was around the skirting and stuff like that. But anyway, that's how it started out, and I like so much better what it means today, which is something foolish and useless and all of that. It's flumadiddle. It sounds just right to mean that, right? And another funny sounding food word that is a synonym to flumadiddle, in that it can also mean something foolish or useless and nonsense. Fiddle faddle. It doesn't just mean the popcorn treat that we know of, fiddle faddle. It also means, oh, that's nonsense. Oh, that's just fiddle faddle. Or this stuff is useless. This is just fiddle faddle. Anyway, so flummadiddle, fiddle faddle, these are both pretty words to say. And they're also fun if you can get them out right several times in a row. Anyway, so that's all the words I had for today. Thank you for sticking around and watching the video, and always appreciate everyone who sticks around till the very end, and I always appreciate the thumbs up on the video, please. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. It was free and it's really quick and it will help me out so much more. And so I'm going to come up with some other fun topic for the next video, but I hope you enjoyed some more fun words. And so stay tuned to see what else I come up with next. And so I'll see you around next time.